Hi kids from McPherson Elementary. This is Miss Diane, and we're going to be working on a group art project this year for the 8th grade end of year art exhibit, our art presentation. We're each going to be making a piece of the final artwork that's going to go all together. So this is a modular art project. And our art project is going to end up looking, each of us, something like this. It's a square piece of art, which we're going to then submit to a company, and they're going to decrease it down to be a tile about 4 1/4 inches square. And each of our designs is going to be unique and different, and they'll all go together to make a giant kind of kaleidoscope. Here's an idea of what it's going to look like, except of course that each of these will be different designs. This is, you know, all the same design over and over again. Each design is going to be based on the letters of your name. Right, so let me put this to one side here and show you some examples. Here's one. And if you look really carefully, you can see that this triangle right here, can you see the word Diane? D-I-A-N-E. This is my name. And I've used a crayon to draw my name to fill this triangle. And then I'm going to print my name here so it comes out upside down and backwards. And then I print it again so it comes out right side up. And print it again so it's upside down and backwards. And each time it makes an exact copy, reversed, of the letters and the shapes of the letters that I drew. And then of course I'm free to fill in the colors any way I want. There are lots of different examples. These all come out unique and different, every single one, right? Some of these are names, some of these are not names, some of these are just words, right? So you can see how these work out. All right, so let's get started and see how this is done. So to start this project, you need a square piece of paper, and this is a regular piece of 8.5 by 11 office paper, but we need to turn this into a square. So we're going to do it, you could of course measure with the ruler and do it, but we're going to do it the easy way, the origami way, by creating a square of paper. So this bottom corner here, it's hard to fit it on the camera, this bottom corner here we're going to fold up this way. So these two edges match. We're going to try and make this corner here as pointy as it can be. And these two edges need to match. And when they do, hold it down and crease it right here. So you can see this edge is just this bottom triangle. Fold it up so these two edges match perfectly. This edge and this edge. And create the pointiest corner you can right here. Then with a pair of scissors or a pencil, you're going to use your pencil to just draw right up against the edge of this paper right there. You're going to cut off this scrap right there on your pencil line. You'll have a perfect square. And here I am with a square. It's got to fold right diagonally from one corner to the other. Now I need a total of 4 folds. I've got fold number 1. We're going to make fold number 2 by holding it so the fold is going up and down. We're going to make a new fold now going across by bringing the bottom corner up to the top and crease. And then open it back up. So right now you've got a square with an X in it, right? Let me draw these in with pencil real quick just so you can see where the folds are. You don't have to draw these in, just I'm doing them so you can see it on camera a little better. There we go. Now, I need to do 2 more folds, so I'm going to hold it so it's like a square. I'm going to fold the bottom up to the top, match those top corners. Sometimes people call this a hamburger fold. Now I've got 3 folds. I've got one going across this way. And then my last fold, I'm going to rotate it. So I've got the X and the existing square fold going up. I'm going to fold the bottom corners up to the top one last time. You can stop and replay this video as many times as you need to figure out these folds. And when you're done, you will have 4 folds. 2 on the diagonal, 1 going across, and 1 going up and down. The next step in this process is to draw the letters of your name into one of these triangles. So hold your paper so that you've got a long edge of the triangle right here and the pointy edge of the triangle right there. And you're going to draw the letters of your name. Each time your letter has to touch the bottom line, the base line, and it also has to touch the top edge. So you might want to sketch this thing with pencil first while you figure it out. Like here's the letter D for Diane, so it touches the top and the bottom. You can see it touches at the bottom and it touches at the top. And here's a letter I. You can slant your letters however you want to. There's a lot of creative interpretation here, so you do it the way you like. I'm going to make the A going this. The I is going to go this way. The A is going to go this way. Notice my letters are touching the top and the bottom. The feet touch down here and the head touches up here. Here's my letter N. And my letter E, I'm going to make it this way. And again, there's plenty of creative room here for you to do it however you want. And I made a decision that I want to draw my name, like, you know, like make my letter E that way. There's, you can have lots of creative license with how, you don't have to use straight lines even. You can make them curvy. But I would stick with uppercase just for the first one so you can figure it out. We're going to make more than one of these, so you'll get a chance to make a lot of mistakes and then, you know, go back and make your best one. This is just the practice one to get rolling. All right, so then with crayon, I'm going to go over each of these letters, double checking that my letters touch the top and the bottom of this triangle. Touch the top and the bottom. And you want to be pretty healthy with your crayon lines. Make sure they are good and strong. And go back and make sure they're nice and bold. You can make this line right here if you want to, but I'm going to decide that later. All right, and so I'm this far. I am now going to print this here by folding it on this baseline. The baseline is like when you were in kindergarten and they gave you, you know, that special paper with the lines on it for drawing. All your letters have to rest on the baseline. So I'm going to fold right on that baseline, and you can see that my name is going to touch right here. It's going to fold this away. Now, crayon rubs off, and we're going to use the fact that it does that to help us get this ink of crayon to transfer it over here. So I'm going to turn my paper, or fold my paper this way right on that baseline so they touch. And then I'm going to use a Sharpie with the lid on it, or you can use a spoon or a popsicle stick or whatever's handy. And I'm going to rub on the back of this. And the wax is going to transfer from my first triangle to my second triangle. And there it is. You can see the Diane is upside down and backwards. The A is upside down and the N is backwards. So I can barely see some of these lines. It shows me where I need to go back and rub a little bit better. So here's my letter D. I'm going to trace over these now. And again, make sure you're touching at the top and the bottoms. The A's, their feet should always be touching. If you have a letter A, their feet are always touching. If you have a letter I, the feet are touching and the heads are touching. Here's my letter N. And again, the N's feet are touching each other, right? They're touching right here. And again, make sure these lines are nice and strong. And that's my second one. So here's my first set of names. Upside down, or right side up, upside down. I want to print this one now over here. So again, here's my new baseline. And I'm going to fold it on that baseline, right on this baseline, fold it on that one. So this upside down Diane is going to touch this new blank triangle. And then this will be right side up again when I'm done. So fold it carefully. And again, use your Sharpie or popsicle stick or spoon or whatever you have that's firm and easy to use. Sorry about the earthquake, the camera's shaking. And there it is again. You can see it's pretty faint, so it shows me where I need to go back and rub a little better. If you can't see your letters, go back. Because the trick is to make sure that the print is as precise as it can be every time. So you can see my letter D, my letter I, my A, double check that they're touching. The N, double check that they're touching. And the E. And there I am, and I'm going to repeat this again. Fold on this baseline so it touches right here. All right, I'm going to stop the process here and come back and show you what it looks like when it's finished. All right, so here's my last one. I've done 7 of my triangles, and I've just turned this one over. Here's Diane. And I've just folded this one on the baseline and printed on the last remaining triangle, triangle number 8. And you can see these ghostly lines, which give me just enough information to get the letters on there. And double check that they're touching heads and feet, right? The letter A should touch head to head, foot to foot. The letter N, same thing. And my letter E. And there's my completed kaleidoscope design. And again, from here, I can go ahead and add colors with markers. We're going to ask you please to use markers and not crayons or colored pencils, because they're not going to be bold enough for the scanners at the company to work and to register the colors that you have chosen. So we're going to stick with colored markers as best we can. There are kits available at school which have the papers that we need, a black crayon, and a bunch of markers. But it's probable that you have the things that you need to do this at home. And the paper and the kits from school also have special paper from Square One Art, which is the company that we're using. Don't use that paper. Just use the regular office paper for this, because you need to be able to fold it and you know, make it into a square. This is the one, of course, that I did using all caps, right? I use all caps and all block letters. But once I've done my first one, it's also okay to go back and play with the letters of your name. For example, here's my name again, but instead of making it plain straight back block letters, I've gone ahead and made it kind of curvy and, you know, more organic shapes. And this will make a completely different design when I try and, you know, use the same method of, now of course this is just pencil, I'll crayon over that, and I'm ready to fold it right on my baseline so I can print this Diane over here. Here's another example. You can go with lowercase letters and stylize those as well. So there's lots of ways that you can play with the letters of your name to get a much different design. So the first one that you do may not be the most interesting one, right? You have a chance to repeat this project more than one time so you can submit for the final art project, you know, the best one, the one that you spent some time on and learned from, you know, maybe the mistakes that you made, like maybe your A's weren't touching at their feet and you'd rather that they did, or, you know, so your first one's going to teach you a lot, and you can move on and try a second one and maybe a third one, and the one that you hand in will be, of course, the one you like the best. We will be posting instructions on the online classroom portal with how we're going to do the submission of all this artwork at the end. There's a lot of us, and we're going to have a pretty coordinated way to hand it all in to make sure nobody gets lost. All right, email me with questions. You can reach me through the Google Classroom link.